Well, here we are at another Friday. First Friday of June, and there is no bandcamp. Cheers. I see someone purchased some songs this morning on my bandcamp site. Thank you. If you folks want to go ahead and make some purchases or just make some donations, even though it's not Bandcamp Friday, I accept. Thank you. I'll leave the links for RAF and me, because I keep forgetting to talk about RAF. Got a message from Richard Johnson this morning regarding Steven Wilson. Thank you, Richard, for sharing that. It just shows that Steven Wilson is a decent fella. He could have easily just forgotten about me, which we don't have the interview yet. But he sent Richard an interview, a message regarding another interview that Steve just posted online, explaining why he didn't even, it's like, that's part of why I like and respect Steven Wilson. It's like he hasn't forgotten about this, about us, about me. It's, so conscientious that he felt the need to explain to Richard why he's done another interview when he said he wasn't doing any until the new album. That's pretty cool. That's my kind of people. Like Richard, my kind of people. Cheers, y'all. Well, it's Friday and I want to go to the Summer Arts Festival. That's what's going on today. And I have to get my car together first. I think I need a new battery or a new battery post. I don't know, something like that. So I'm just checking out where Gigi, the guitarist, played here in Omaha last night, but I didn't go. Good stuff happens in Omaha. Interesting stuff happens in Omaha. Through the Bemis and Project in particular, they're bringing some interesting stuff. Like I said, I'm not particularly interested in the nightlife and going out. Checking out the comments here. Yes, I'm not a know-it-all, but I do know a little bit about music. Latest comment is there's a third band called Kaleidoscope from Mexico in 1969. I don't have it, but I actually know about it. I can see the cover in my mind. Yes, thank you for mentioning this. Yes, Project 2025, the document. I have perused it and haven't read the entire thing. People don't talk about it. These policies, as you're saying, are unconstitutional and very fringe. And this is what Trump and right-wingers are up to. It's not good. Yeah. I like Andy McKay too. And Fright Night, thank you for sharing the thing about tinnitus. I'm really not concerned about the tinnitus. I just live with it. You know what I'm saying? And I had actually heard of Chris Potter. I'm not kidding. Cool. Always good to hear from L.E. L.E. Always, hope that things are okay for you. So, other than needing to, Aaron's going to help me. I either get a new battery or switch the other battery post, whatever. Still having a bit of trouble with the car. Hope to get that straightened out. So musically, I thought about opening the studio yesterday, but I didn't. And again, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. There'll come a time. So I just messed around and I played some music throughout the day because it is one of my favorite things to do. It is. A couple of CDs. Here's one of the remaining BYG titles that I have forever not been able to find. Last time I saw this in the store was ages ago. And it's gone way up in value. Ame Son, Ketelese. It's been reissued and it has a different cover, but I want this one. So I listened to this last night. There's a passage on here that has stuck in my mind since I first heard it ages ago. It's nothing special, but it's made an impression on me. I really would like to get a copy of this. Something I burned long ago because I read about it and it was interesting. I've never seen the record. Listened to this last night like I don't think I've ever listened to it before. The Crazy People, Bedlam. I think this came out in the 60s out of Canada. This is strange and a little unsettling. Some of the things that people talk about and people reveal about themselves in music sometimes is like, well, that one flew under the radar when it happened. This is goofy. There is some actual pop music on here, but there's a lot of talking and messing around and spoken word stuff. And some of the spoken word stuff is like, what? You do sound crazy. But in a real mentally ill kind of way, not a funny way. You know, as times have changed and the psychology of our society has changed, and we look back and see what once was permissible and what we once thought was okay, we've been strange. I mean, and the fact that still women don't get paid the same amount of money as a man on the same type of job, that's still strange that won't change. That's strange. That's weird. Just like the misogyny of old days and the way that women were so totally objectified in the media. Very weird. Mass. This has been talk about this lately. Early 4AD single. I'm glad I kept this. Rema Rema. I had that record. Should have kept it. Damn it. You know, it's one of those records where it's like, it just didn't come into focus for me. You know, I kept it for a long time and then I sold it. I kept In Camera though. In Camera, I like that. This is somehow related. Mass. I forget who was in this band, but this is that early scratchy, howly sort of post-punk sort of sound that I don't listen to much anymore, but this is the sort of thing that I like to keep. Yes, vinyl is awesome. And there are many records like that where it's like, I've kind of grown out of it, but it's a keeper. It's part of a collection. Played all this yesterday. This came out, I think, last year. This is really good. I sometimes wonder why I don't hear why the Orb doesn't seem to make more of a dent in the mainstream music culture because it's so good. Prism. And it's very yellow vinyl. Some of this is very dubby and reggae, and then other stuff is real dancey, and other stuff is real cosmic. I like this. Their beats, they really are good at putting a beat down. Now here's a couple things. One of these things I'm going to give my opinion in. I hope I don't get in trouble for it. This was sent to me years ago by this artist. It's not an album, it's a CD. And this is a one-of-a-kind piece of art by Mark G. Connors. Aspects of Happenstance. I still don't see this on Discogs. But this is art. See, that's painted. So I listened to this last night for the first time in a while, and it has some high points. It's electronic. There's some singing. Kind of makes me think of Thomas Dolby just a little bit. Some of the pieces are more well realized than others. Some things do sound like it's just someone at home messing around with their equipment. And then other tracks on here were pretty good. You folks remember when I featured this? It was sent to me. It's still not on Discogs. If you folks see this, don't get mad, because I'm going to be honest. Big Green Cherry. This is some kind of art project where these are documented and signed, and it's supposed to be really worth a lot of money. This is terrible. Musically, this is terrible. And the pressing is, it's lousy. It's lousy vinyl. At the risk of really angering someone, this just seems like it seems like it's a money grab, because the music it's not good. The singing is out of key, actually, literally out of tune at times. That ain't okay. When punk happened, you can tolerate it when someone's got something to say, and they really have to say it. And that's what was going on with punk, post-punk and stuff like that, where people who could barely play but had something on their minds. That I can feel. That thing that I just showed, that's just awful. Sorry if I offended somebody. I gotta be honest. Played some more Slowdive. They just hit a sweet spot in my brain with all that reverb and the kind of watery sort of effect the music has. It's very dreamlike to me. And this is the reissues on the different color, beautiful color, really high quality pressings and paper on the textured paper on the covers. I love this band. So yeah, regarding sax, I don't need to, go into anything heavy about sax. I know what I like. Jazz saxophone is where it's at for me. A lot of pop saxophone just doesn't work. Andy McKay of Roxy Music, I like what he does. I do. Showed this a while back, played this again yesterday all the way through. This is so good. A Bad Diana Rogerson. The lights are on, but no one's home. I listened to the words, and there's literal references here. Literary references in the words. But the music, and I love the way she uses the sound of cicadas throughout the album. This is really cool. I love stuff like this. It's hard to describe, but when you put it on, it's like, oh shit, that's deep listening. That is deep listening material. Hadn't played this in a while. This is fantastic. I don't speak the language. I don't need to speak the language to get the overall picture of the music. Like, I forget your name, but he offered to translate Brazilian. If I really wanted things translated, I know how to translate stuff. It's not hard using the internet. But I'm not really concerned about knowing what people are singing about, honestly. I'm not. Not when the music and the whole picture really appeals to me. Like Franco Battiato from Italy. I've got several of his albums. This album is really good. Pollution. It's very psychedelic. I'm sure the words are important, but I'm getting the gist of it without knowing what he's saying. The audio picture and the inventiveness and the creativeness that's gone into this is real apparent to me. Real good stuff. Pollution. And that is what I have to show. So I'll just muse for a few minutes and I'll go. Again, thank you folks for being real and being kind in your comments, because I am very much concerned about the political landscape and how we're on the precipice of authoritarianism, and how it will, things are bad enough as they are. It'll just be worse, okay? And yeah, I've heard of this band, Sea Cat Trance. I'll give them another listen, Like I said, just because something's good doesn't mean I'm going to like it. But I'll listen to them again. I have actually heard Sea Cat Trance, yeah. And I see that Sean says he's going to send me some of his music on vinyl. Well, I'm honest, so I hope it's good. I think I do want to say one more thing about Trump, because I keep forgetting there's so many layers of what I see regarding this political disaster that we're living through. One of the reasons that I see that Donald Trump has been able to do this, to get this position in the public, not only has to do with his history of money and New York, but his getting on TV. I never watched that show. What was it called? The Apprentice, where he was always saying people you're fired. See, I want to make this correlation that I see. It may not be true, but it looks like it is to me. People are hypnotized by the television, and because so many people, the main thing they do is sit in front of the television. That is reality to them. Okay. So the cult of personality, like Living Color's song, we live in a society where the cult of personality is very, very strong, and perception is everything. We're at a point in time where perception, what people perceive, that's it. They don't care about the facts. It's what they think. It's the picture they see that they like, that they gravitate to. And Trump has presented himself as a celebrity. He wishes he could be a rock star. He's said it in so many ways. And his whole deal of becoming the president wasn't about wanting to help run the country. It was so they would have bragging rights. I'm the big shit. I'm the president. What's that bar that he's got in the East Coast or somewhere, or is it down at Mar-a-Lago, the presidential suite, where it's a bar and it's got all this memorabilia from the White House? See, that's all he wants to do. He's such a fake. And here's the other part that I keep forgetting to mention that I see that is why he has such a hold on so many Americans and so many people. It's the Elvis syndrome. Now, I used to say this and people would really get mad at me. I think there's a lot of truth to it. I'm old enough to remember when Elvis Presley was the great white savior, the great white hope. I remember when the whole trip of Elvis's popularity was, he sings like a darky, but he ain't one. Well, that's our boy. We got one. We got a white boy. He can sing like a nigger. That's what they would say. I heard it so much as a kid, but he ain't one. To be so hated, where you want the fruits of my life, of our lives, but you want to kill us. I see a parallel with the way Trump presents himself, because Trump's not a blonde. You see no pictures of him. He's got brown hair. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's playing the I am the great white savior. I am your great white hope. I see that. It's the Elvis syndrome. And it took forever after Elvis Presley passed away, especially here in Nebraska. It took forever for people to let go of the king. He's the king. Racism. I see that at the root of this cult. White privilege used to be the norm. It used to be the norm that you could hang people like me, and people would come, and it would be an event. Even the kids, bring the kids. This wasn't that long ago. And that's the mentality behind Trump and his racist base, hateful base. And just like the Bible, see, I have studied the Bible, so I can go there. Just like it says in the Bible, there will come a time when so-called followers of Christ will be fooled, and they'll be, that's what's going on. It's happening right now. So, hope to get the car running properly now instead of having to worry about it starting. I think the other cable is corroded badly on it and needs to be replaced. I might need a new battery. Anyway, I got to get that going so I can go to the Summer Arts Festival. I have no plans to spend any money on records because I don't have it to spend right now. I don't. So, and if anybody makes any donations or buys any music today from me, I'll just help me get my car fixed. Okay, folks, I've rambled enough. Have a good one. Let me know how you're doing.